Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers, Chapter 3. We only have a few more days to go before the 14-day celebration of fun-filled events that will show you exactly that everyone has a story to tell. That will be this coming October 24th to November 6th. We are now streaming live in our Readers Magnet Facebook page and Readers Magnet YouTube channel. You can also visit us online at www.festivalofstorytellers.com and make sure to sign up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to be updated. I am your host, Nelsie, and with me is one of Reader's Magnet featured authors, Bobbie J. Mclaren, author of the book The Sounds at River's Edge. She'll be sharing with us her journey in writing this book. Hi, Bobbie. How are you
Hey,
feeling
Nelsie.
today?
I'm doing wonderful. You?
Quite good,
Good.
actually. We're actually
Good.
really excited to know more about your book right now.
Well, thank you.
So before we start, Bobby, can you share a little bit of background about yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I grew up in South Florida in Palm Beach
Mhm.
County, and we grew up actually on the Intercoastal Waterway, and that's what these stories are about. They're chiefly about myself and my sister, who is older than I am, but the book ranges from me being 4 years old to approximately 8 to 8.5. And these are true stories. I mean, when you read them, when I read them, I mean, when I was writing them, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we did these crazy things. But it was just fun times and crazy stuff that, now they tell you don't drink out of a hose because you'll die. Well, we should have been dead years ago then, because in this Florida heat and you're thirsty, you run over and you grab a water hose, turn it on, you're drinking hot water that God only knows what's in it. But we survived. But um, I just felt compelled to do this book, and that's what it's about. I grew up in South Florida. I now live in northeast Alabama, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't trade my memories for what how we grew up down there for anything. And that's what this book is about, memories.
So, can you share the readers, our audience right now, your book?
Sure. I love this.
There,
Look at this title, The Sound of
yeah,
River's Edge.
this.
But what you see here, this is what the story is about. It's about a
Uh-huh.
little girl and her love and her friendship and relationship with her dad.
I
And
can see.
of course, my sister's in there too because, like I said, she's 4 years older than me. And she was not happy when I came along. It just rocked her world. But even though we're best friends now, at that time, not so much. So it's the things that we would do to one another to be irritant. And anyone that has a sibling knows exactly what that's like.
Yes, I can relate to that,
But I
especially
love
I'm that.
this. I mean, this cover, Reader's Magnet came up with this cover of this little girl walking and holding the hand. I mean, is that not beautiful? This is
Yeah.
gorgeous. I love that.
That's great to hear, actually, and everyone can relate to it. Especially, I can also relate to your sister. I think because I'm the eldest, and
Yeah,
having a younger sibling is
yeah,
a little bit frustrating sometimes. But you get along, and it'll be your best friends.
absolutely.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So
So continuing to the book, why did you decide to write this book?
I've always been a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister, uh, hard to imagine, but my sister and
Yes.
my best friend, um, Christine, they both encouraged me to write these stories down because my dad had made a statement when we were kids, and I thought, when you're young, you think your parents are as dumb as a rock. And then you get older and you find out that, my God, they were probably the wisest people you ever knew. But my dad had always said that 100 years from now, unless you're famous or infamous, like Hitler or one of them, people will
Mhm.
never remember who you were. They don't even remember that you were
Yes,
here. So my sister was like,
that's true.
and Christine, my best friend, you need to write these stories down because you know what? When you're gone, nobody's going to remember. Nobody's going to have these stories to tell. And
Yeah.
so I thought, well, that sounds like fun. And I've always written poetry and songs and
Mhm.
things like that. So I sat down and began writing. And so that's how this book evolved. It was just stories um, that actually happened.
It actually happened. It's
It makes
actually really good that your family has been inspiring you and pushing you through everything.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
actually great to know.
The
So,
if you
mhm.
just bear with me there, the very first chapter, and I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't want to blow the
Yes.
ending, but the very first chapter is called A Leap of Faith, and in that leap of faith, it's me at like a little over 4 years old watching Bugs Bunny jump off a cliff with an umbrella. And so I decided that I needed to do that too. So I jumped off the roof of our house with my mom's umbrella. So the story is leading up to how I got there, what happened when I got there, and then the after effects of not being Bugs Bunny floating down the side of a cliff.
Yes, as a kid, actually watching those kind of movies, sometimes you want to try if it
Yeah,
actually happened.
hmm
It's quite interesting if maybe I can do this too. But
absolutely.
then
Then you find out you can't.
reality,
Yeah,
yes. So I think everyone can actually relate to your book as it's actually one of the things that kids when you were growing up,
hmm
everything that you experience. So you know, can you show our audience again your book?
sure. Be
Yes.
glad to.
There,
There it is, right there.
yes, there
Sounds
you go.
represent.
So for
I'm going
those
to
who
take
are
back that there.
yes,
That's better view. Right there.
yes, that's better.
That's
So
better.
for those who are watching actually our live right now, you can grab a
Mhm.
copy of Bobby's book, The Sounds at River's Edge, available in Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Readers Magnet Bookstores, and also her website, www.BobbieJMcLaren.com. And you can also follow her on her social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram. So that's great. So, Bobby, what do you hope the readers to come away with your book?
My truest hope is that they come away understanding that there's a lot of kids that don't have good dads, and that's unfortunate. Um, but I would like them to realize that there are people out there that truly do love their kids, whether it be a mother or father. The
Yes.
fact is that we all need somebody to look up to. We all need heroes. And my dad, I was very fortunate in having a man that he never spoke much about his solid footing with God, but
Mm-hmm.
he lived it. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that they'll talk about religion, they'll talk
Yes.
about all kinds of faith, but they don't walk it out. My dad was a walker, and he did what other people would talk about, but he did
Mm-hmm.
it in such subtle ways that it made an impact. So I want people to understand that there's a God that loves them. And
Mm-hmm.
whether they had bad parents, because not everybody has good parents, but whether they have
Yes.
bad parents or good ones, that there's still hope, and don't ever give up.
Yes.
Always keep listening. And the reason I named it, oops, sorry, the reason I named it The Sounds at River's Edge is
Mm-hmm.
because life is full of sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like you can hear the breeze going through the trees, and you can
Yes.
hear frogs at night, and crickets, and cicadas, and you can hear birds singing and stuff. Don't miss out on those simple pleasures, because those are
Yes.
things that God has put there for us to enjoy. And that's the
Yes.
reason for the name, The Sounds at River's Edge, because
Mm-hmm.
everything you do, there's always some sort of a sound. We're never in a complete
Yes.
vacuum.
Yes, actually, that's quite inspiring because everyone is not lucky enough to have the same dad as you.
Yeah,
That really good,
yes,
but
ma'am.
at least anyone who can read this at having a hard time can have a little laugh and have little hope also that it's
Yes,
not the end of everything.
absolutely.
Yes, just look at your surroundings and everything is inspiring also.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes. So, um, Bobby, as we already know about your book, are you still writing right now? Everyone wants to know what's next for Bobby J. McLaren.
Oh, there's quite a bit. I just got through with our boom days here in Fort Payne,
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, and it was great. I did a book signing and stuff there. Readers
Mm-hmm.
Magnet also did my children's book. It wasn't just
Oh.
the Sounds of Rivers, but they've also done my first ever children's book called the first annual Duck Springs Whistling Contest. Anyways, and I had that, and what's coming up next is I'm still working on a follow up to the
Oh.
Sound at River's Edge. It's more sounds at River's Edge, and then I'm working on a book of healing called Swimming in Quicksand. So
Mm.
yeah, it's how that we it's all about learning how to live through chaos and not
I
letting it pull you down.
see. Seems like another inspiring book coming out from you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There is, you have a lot. You have quite a few things that you have in mind that a few of us can actually have an inspiration with, because you have next for you is you're still writing for the
Yes.
still writing about the readers, and then you also have another book.
Yep.
So I think the audience have something to look up in a few days, in a few months, I guess.
I'm hoping to get it done because I've already got inspiration that once I get through
Mhm.
with the more sounds at River's Edge, since we've been living in Alabama, my niece and nephew have grown up and they're in their 40s now. But when they were little kids, I'm thinking
Yes.
about doing Echoes in the Mountain because I remember when they were tiny, my mom wanted little baby chickens. So she could have lots of chickens with lots of eggs. And we did have that. But when the baby chickens would come in and they were just tiny, and
Yes.
my niece and nephew would be holding them, I used to play with them and say, "Now don't squeeze them too hard because if you do, the yolk will come out." Because baby chickens, they're most of them are yellow or white,
Yes.
and they were like, "Oh my gosh," so they actually believed that if they squeezed them too hard, because the egg, there's the white in the yolk. Well, I said, "Well, I don't squeeze them now." So, but there's all these stories about them growing up and watching them, and it was such fun. And I thought,
Yes.
man, they would love to have that for their kids.
Yes.
My sisters, I don't have any children myself, and my cats could care less whether or not I write a book.
I can relate to that. Also have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
cat actually, but it's actually really nice that after writing a book about your childhood, now next for you is to be writing about childhood of your family.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
yes, that's actually a nice inspiration from you. Cause but Bobby, for this book, are you happy with the final product?
I wasn't at first because I was
Huh?
real nervous about it. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
when you go in anything that you do,
Mm-hmm.
I also paint and
Yeah.
and I write songs. I've actually got some published songs and stuff.
Oh.
Anything you do as human beings, we have
Mm-hmm.
this issue of fearing rejection and failure.
Yes. Yes.
But I've learned, so I'm 68 years old now. And I've learned in my through all this time that the best thing to do is try,
Yes.
because even if you fail, failure's not the end. It's
Yes.
just one more bump in the road that,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, if we'll just keep trying, eventually you're going to find something that works. And
Yes.
so that's what I really I look at it now and I'm like, heck yeah, I'm happy with this. And especially now that we've got this new cover. I had originally published this before, but it had a different cover. And
Mhm.
Reader's Magnet has helped me to rebrand the book. The hard
Yes.
part is learning that I'm I'm the one that I have to market me to market the book, and I'm not too good at marketing me. I can market a book. Yeah, the book's great, but that's me in the book. So,
Yeah.
but I'm
So
learning. Got a lot of
yeah.
good people there that kind of encourage and help you along.
That's actually great to know that you're actually enjoying working with us, right?
Yes,
Because yes, like, I mean, that's actually great to know because failure is always. I mean, a success always comes with failures at first.
Absolutely.
So having things like this is just a stepping stone for you to move forward.
Yeah. Well, they say that Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before
Yes.
he actually created the light bulb.
Yes.
Had 1,000 failures, but then finally, now I don't know if I would have been that persistent, but I guess if you're a scientist and you want to do that, you're going to keep right on. So
Yes.
my idea is I'm going to write a book and I'm going to continue to write books. And if one person reads them and it makes an impact in their life, then it was worth it.
Yes.
If a million people do it, it's really worth it. But, you know, even that one person, because we touch one another in every interaction that we do. Our lives
Yes.
touch. And so, are we touching people with good or are we touching people with bad?
Yeah. That's actually the point of it.
Yeah,
So, actually, Bobby, this will be the end of our
okay.
live. It's
Mhm.
actually really great to have you with us right now,
Well, thank
Bobby.
you.
Thank you very much for us today.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
was a it was a good talk with you, and thank you very much for gracing us with your presence today.
Well, thank
So,
you.
thank you. So, all right, everyone. Bobby J. Mclaren, author of the book *The Sounds at River's Edge*. Her book is available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and her website www.bobbyjmclaren.com. So again, thank you, Bobby.
Thank
And
you,
as
Milky,
yes, as we say here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the
with the
world.
world.
Thank,
Bye.
thank you, Bobby. Bye. Thank you very much. That's a really good.